Today is my birthday, as long as today is the 23rd of January. So those of you who've seen my spreadsheet will know that I track my videos using my spreadsheet, and I do tend to track my videos pretty far in advance. So towards the end of last year, when I realised that my birthday was going to fall on a Friday, I was like, do I do some sort of like different kind of video? And then Ben suggested that I do some sort of like top manga video, because I haven't done one of those in quite a while actually. And then he said, since you're turning 30, why not do 30 of your top series? So here we are. This video is my top 30 series. I will say it was really hard putting this together, like even just narrowing it down to 30 series that I really love and would recommend. I must have changed this list like a good dozen plus times. I think I got to a point where I was like, no, we're going with this, no more. Let's just film. Outside of probably my top 5 series, the rest of them are probably not in any particular order. Again, it's quite hard to choose and decide. Just know that any series that I'm going to talk about today, I absolutely adore, would definitely recommend, depending. I'll like clarify on each series like what I would and wouldn't recommend, and also a bit about why I like it so much. So there might be some like stories and stuff that I've told before in other videos that I'm going to retell in this one. So if you're new, great. If you've heard them all before, apologies. So I have 30 series I want to talk about. We're going to get into this because it's probably going to be longer than I would probably hope for it to be anyway. Our first series that I absolutely adore is Naruto. So Naruto was one of the very first series in my manga collection. I've told the story before, but here we go again. Someone that works with my parents was moving house and doing a big clear out, and in the office they brought a load of stuff they were trying to get rid of, and I'd come into the office with my parents and they were like, Caitlin, do you want some manga? And me being like, what's manga? Age like 13, 14. And then they gave me volumes 1 to 3 of Love Hina and 1 and 2 of Naruto. And this is that same volume, which isn't bad. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, the light's probably not doing it any favors. It looks better in person. For how long have I had this now? I've turned 30, so about 16 years. And also they had it before me. I don't know how long they had it before me. But this has been read to death because I read both volumes 1 and 2 the day I got them, and I just kept rereading them. Is that weird? I don't know. I kept rereading them until I got some more, which was a month or so later, or a few weeks later. And as funny as Love Hina is, I really do feel it was Naruto that really kick-started my love and fondness of manga. And I do still enjoy it. I've been reading Boruto and I am enjoying Boruto as well. I know there's mixed feelings. Do miss the art style of like early Naruto, because it is just so different to what we have now with Boruto. But I'm still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it incredibly deeply, and I do occasionally go back and read some volumes of this. Rock Lee is my favourite character, so the fact that he got a spin-off, I have everything just piled up next to me and I'm like, what shall I do next? Because outside of my top 5, there isn't really a set order to anything, so I'm just like, what shall I do next? Next we have Grand Blue Dreaming. This is a sports manga. I was recommended this from a friend, like a real person friend, not an online manga person friend, real in-person friend. And they were like, yeah, it's a sports manga. And I was like, oh, okay, I've not really read much sports manga, let's give it a go. It's incredibly crude, but it is just my kind of humour. It is so dumb, silly, crude, really crude, and that is right on my street. It is so funny. I see a lot of like love-hate relationship with this. People really love it, people really hate it because of the humour. I must say, I feel the further into the series we've gotten, there have been more sporty-ish related moments that actually do have them going diving and doing stuff and like getting their license, and we do get to experience and learn about diving. It just also is surrounded by drinking water and games. I really like his friend group and his professor. Probably my favourite character is the professor. Next series is First Night with the Duke. I'll be honest, I don't feel like I realised how much I had enjoyed this series until I finally finished it up last year. I'd been putting it off and there was some weirdness with the publisher. It's published by Net Comics and they've like slightly gone bust. It's a bit weird. No one's entirely sure. The digital platform's closed down and then it's like, are they still printing? Don't know. And then the last couple of volumes of this were kind of like meant to come out around the time things were going wobbly. So I kind of just stopped reading it because I was like, let's just see what's going to happen. But they did all finish coming out, all 7 volumes. Volume 7 is just side stories. The main story does complete in the 6th volume. And I absolutely loved it. It is a isekai story. I think it's based on a novel. It is, yeah, it's based on a romance novel. And this character accidentally gets in bed with the main male character from the romance novel. And she's like, I've messed it up. I need to get him paired off back with the lady from the book. Except it doesn't go quite that way because he's completely besotted with her. Besotted. Besotted. Ben told me I was making a word up. It's not bespotted. Besotted. There you go, Ben. Something I really liked and appreciated with this story is a lot of isekai stories sort of blag over like what happened, why were they isekai'd. They're just kind of like, it happens and it's done. What happened to the person who was in that body? And we get all those answers kind of in this. It does actually kind of try to resolve things and explain what happened while still having loads of really fun romantic drama and like kidnappings and stuff like that. And because it's only 7 volumes, I don't feel like it's overly dragged out either, which some do as well. And even then, as I said, volume 7 is side stories, so it's great. Next we have Cat Gamer. Now this is a 8-volume series printed by Dark Horse. We had a bit of a worry in the middle where it seemed to stop printing. It just sort of went radio silent, but they picked it up again, I think a year or 2 later, and we got the rest of the series, and we are now starting another series from the same person called Cat Crazy, or Crazy Cat, one of the two. I love video games. If I had not made an account dedicated to manga, it was going to be one dedicated to video games. I pretty much flipped a coin the day I made an Instagram account to decide. I do wonder in hindsight, if I'd gone the video game route, would I have more space? But we're not going to question the could've, should've history. we are, I'm very happy. But it is about a woman who gets a cat and is a big video game player, and she likens raising and looking after a cat to like aspects of a video game playing, as well as just the daily life of living with a cat and playing video games and going to work. And we also get sort of the inside thoughts of the cats, which is super cute. Again, I love it. Again, it's not too long. I don't feel it drags out. I found it relatable. There were aspects of this where she's complaining about a game and I'm like, I had the exact same issue with my game last weekend. And most importantly, it helped convince Ben that we should get some cats of our own. Like this not so little cutie. Isn't that? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, she's such a brain cell cat. Here you go. Have a Yuna. She likes to just flop. Mika will be somewhere, probably asleep. You can go down, Yuna. I'm not actually holding you anymore. You just, no, don't fall, don't fall. I do love my cat so much. Our next series is the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. This is a Yuri. It's known as the green Yuri because the inside makes use of green paneling in the background to highlight. Isn't it pretty? One of my favorite things about this series is the paneling. It is reading it just feels so nice. I love how we get the characters sort of bursting out of panels, so it feels like they're alive, like they're jumping out at us. And the use of green, it's an absolute gorgeous, bright, colourful shade of green. It's just, I've loved reading it. The story's great too, and I love the characters. But the actual just like feeling of reading this is just so nice because I like the paneling and the green, and then it's just like story bonus on top of that. This, we've got the character out of the panel with like bits around the side and the green in the eyes. The green in the eyes. I've become so madly obsessed with the style of this. I feel really amenable to picking up merch of it because a lot of merch still has maintained that sort of black, white and green aspect, and I think it's so striking. I have like a dozen keychains of these characters from this series way more than I have from like anything else. Even beans. I think I have more keychains from Green Euro than I do of beans. It's just so, oh, it itches real nice inside of my head. I feel like the only way I can describe the feeling of reading this series. And I should get volume 3 in a couple of weeks. Hey! Next series is Ouran High School Host Club. Complete at 18 volumes. This was probably one of my very early forays into the shoujo demographic. So way back when I was at university, I had no clue what demographics were. I knew Shonen Jump was the magazine. I knew Shoujo Beat was a magazine. But like, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that that was demographics or what demographics were. Just no clue. That was just the names of them. And I remember when I was at uni, someone that I lived with got the Ouran anime, I think on DVD, and we watched a chunk of episodes of Ouran. I think that was technically my first like proper like shoujo series, because there was like Honey So Sweet, which I picked up physically, and I think that was the first one I picked up physically. But that I watched was Ouran. Oh, I was still at university. I was quite a late bloomer when it comes to manga. And I just thought it was hilarious. All the characters, everyone, were amazing. I loved the twins when the twins bicker, and there's that episode where they're throwing things at each other. Absolutely died. Absolutely died. It was hilarious. I loved it. I love Honey. Harry, it's excellent. And I remember the summer after we'd watched some of the episodes, because I don't think they'd picked up the full season on DVD or something, and I went home and I watched the rest of the anime, and I remember thinking, it's a really weird ending, isn't it? And it took me ages, because it just didn't occur to me back then that like the world of manga or what was like actually out there. It took me a while to actually pick up the manga of this, and I did start to pick it up. I picked a lot of it up secondhand through like third parties on Amazon, but a lot of it I got for like £3-4. I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, completely different ending to the anime. Completely different ending. And I'm so glad I read it. Highly recommend it. Definitely, I mean, who doesn't know Ouran? I feel like a lot of people know Ouran. And it has a box set. Oh, let's get some more of those shoujo box sets, please, Viz. Next series is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Now, I have a very love-hate relationship with video game adapted manga, or manga based on video games, sorry. Because a lot of them I don't think do it very well, especially series that have quite a, what's the word? The gameplay is focused quite a lot on like puzzles or dungeons. Because it doesn't, it's different to when you're reading, they'll often like skip through them a bit weirdly, and you're like, oh my gosh, big dungeon, oh, but we've gotten to the end, there's the boss, oh, okay. But with Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, I have not played past the first one, so someone can absolutely correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that the stories, the cases in this are just for the manga. I think it is an original story, I do think it is an original story. But like we get like almost a case per volume, I think. Oh, it's been years since I read it. I think roughly, I think we kind of lead into the next case at the end of the volumes. But we're having these like actual like cases, and they kind of work quite well in a manga form. And it was just really fun to read. It felt like I was following along on a Phoenix Wright case, but in manga form. Only really sadness is this is complete in 5 volumes, and I'm fairly sure out of print. I picked this up quite a while ago, and there was one volume that was really hard to find. I had to bide my time. I also think there is more Phoenix Wright manga, but every time I see them, they're horrendous price, and I'm not paying that. Even as much as I've enjoyed this one, I'm not paying that. Next we have Ayakashi Hunter's Tainted Bride. I've just really loved this series. It felt like a really fun, cute fantasy period romance with like girl has had a horrible childhood upbringing, been abused by a family, and then this guy is like, I'm gonna look after you, you're gonna be free from this abuse, you're gonna be welcomed in my family, you are my family, I'm gonna love you and treat you like you should be treated. It's like, I am a big fan of like romance drama when the drama comes from outside of the couple. I'm less fussed if they're like bickering and hating or they're not communicating. I can't be doing that. When there's added drama brought in, like kidnappings, poisons, yes. A love rival that has no chance, also welcomed. I don't want the love rival to have like there is a possibility and I have to decide. I don't want that. I want them put in their place. And I really like this one for it. But we are also seeing like the female character being built up. She has been like beaten down her whole life. Being in this environment, she's becoming stronger. She's becoming more confident. And we're seeing her like through the story doing better and better. And that's also really great to see. It's also coming out at a hoofing rate, because this I think only initially released last year, and I think 5 is out or 6 is out, with the next one out soon. So this is where we start to hit some of the series where I was a little naughty because I couldn't pick. So for the next series, we have yokai cats, but not just yokai cats. We also have monster cats, and we also have Evil Secret Society of Cats, and we also have Cthulhu Cat, and finally we also have Cats with Jobs. You might notice a trend, and that trend is this is all by the same mangaka. It is by Pandania? Pandania. The reason I let myself be naughty and group all of these together is they do pretty much follow the same plot line. They are 4 coma they are 4 coma series around cats. They are cute, silly 4 coma series around cats. So this is Cats with Jobs, Yokai Cats, Monster Cats, and Evil Secret Society of Cats. The only one that is a little different is Cthulhu Cat, and this does like, it is still 4 coma, but it actually has some form of a story to it. It's also the only one not published by 7 Seas. It is published by Dark Horse, and it is a one-shot. The rest are all ongoing, I believe. And it's just really cute 4 comas around cats, and I love cats, and they're silly, and they make me giggle. I'm pretty good with that. They are a bit pricey. They're in full colour. They're big format, but they do often go on sale. I predominantly find mine on sale, which is when I grab them. I have no idea if there's going to be any other series past these 5, but I'd still pick them up. Next we have Punch Drunk Love. Now truthfully, there were a few series I was umming and ahhing about picking here. In terms of like 7 Seas BL manhwa, Punch Drunk Love, Dangerous Convenience Store, Perfect Buddy have all been series that I've really enjoyed heavily. I think Punch Drunk Love has like slightly edged them out because it's like, I think it's the most silly and it makes me giggle the most. Where this guy is like obsessed with this person that he works with and wants him to do unthinkable things to him. But he looks like the most like generic office worker you could potentially imagine, and no one expects that of him. And honestly, it's just also these covers are like crazy pretty with all the little flowers, sort of the different color patterns. So we've got blue and pink on this one. They're so thick. I don't think they're as like thick as we think they are though. I think when we've got color pages, they use a different type of paper, which just is thicker. So these pages are quite, yeah, sturdy. Because it says that the last chapter starts on page 221, so it's probably going to be like 280 pages based on the other chapter lengths, which again isn't horrendous for a volume. I thought this would be much longer based on how thick it is. That's not too bad. If anyone has like any other 7 Seas manhwa BL that you think I should be reading, do let me know. I found them quite hit or miss. I think there's only been 1 or 2 that I've not been like raving for, I think. There's a couple I'm behind on that I want to try and read this year as well though, but this definitely is one of my favourites. Next we have Fairy Tail. I did not realise until I started making manga content how divisive the opinions on this series are. Like, god damn, some people out there really hate it. Again, this is a series I got into quite early on in my manga collecting journey, because for the longest while, because I had Naruto, the only series I was picking up were series recommended in the back of my volumes. And because I was picking up Shonen Jump, for a long while I was only reading Shonen Jump. And then I remember going online and I was like looking for recommendations, and I was like, these are the ones I've read, and there was some place that recommended Fairy Tail if you'd read what I'd already read. And I remember going into store and seeing it and being like, it's a real ugly, boring spine. I picked up a couple of volumes anyway, got a bit sad because it cost more than all my Viz and Shonen Jump series, and I absolutely loved it. I have a bright soft spot for Magic series. Magic series are some of my favourite series. Part of the reason I've loved fantasy and isekai so much. Just love reading about magic. It's so fun. It can be used in so many different ways. Your imagination is the limit. And having this like guild of people with magic and going out and doing jobs and stuff, it was just so fun to read. And it was so low stakes, and I know that's one of the main issues people have with the series is it's so low stakes, like nothing bad really happens. But I kind of loved it for that at the time when I was younger, and I still kind of do. I'm still reading 100 Year Quest even though I'm behind, and I have all the fairy tale spin-offs like S and Side Stories and Ice Trail and Girls and Zero, and probably more that I've missed, and it's just really fun. I also just really quite like the art style, so it is one of the very few mangaka that I actually am vaguely aware of. There are so few. I'm so bad at it. I want to try and do, I'm trying to make changes to my spreadsheet to make it easier for me to see and know series in my collection by the same person, but Mashima is probably one of the only ones that I've been like vaguely aware of for a while now. Picked up Eden Zero, tried to start picking up Rave Master, abandoned picking up Rave Master. I'll hope for a reprint, which Kodansha seem to be doing quite good at the last couple of years, so I'm holding out hope. What else is there? Monster Orange, and there's another one. I can't remember. There's another couple or so, and I've got quite a few of the ones that are in English, but I love Fairy Tail. I also really love Lucy and her keys because they're constellations. The Zodiac, and I love my space. Next we have Quality Assurance in Another World. Quality Assurance, again, if you've heard it already, forgive me, but my day job, I not as much anymore, but I was a QA engineer, I was a Quality Assurance engineer, and being able to read an isekai of what I did do for a living, it was perfect. It was beautiful. I couldn't believe how much joy. I also couldn't believe like seeing them do QA things, writing up bug reports, trying to cause bugs. A whole story written about like manipulating bugs in a game was it's great. I think it's so wonderfully targeted at me though. It is a bit trickier, I feel, to recommend on like would you enjoy it? Sorry, is it for you? For me, it was just so perfect. Yeah, it was definitely for me. But for other people, I don't know. I don't know if you are also a QA engineer. Give it a go, and I want to hear your thoughts desperately. Not really. I'd managed to convince any of the other QA engineers that I worked with to read it because they're not into manga. I will say though, it has gotten considerably darker in the later volumes, so I would recommend looking up some trigger warnings before jumping in yourself too far. The first couple of volumes aren't too bad, but it really kicks it up a notch later on. Like there are warnings at the start of chapters or in like the sidebars, and I've only seen that in one other manga volume ever before getting to this one, and I was not expecting it. But I am smitten with the series because I feel it was written for me. We're not even halfway through. Gosh, next series is Me and My Beast Boss. Now, I was like umming and ahhing with this one, and with You Our Love Will Make It Through. I ultimately ended up going with this one, but I do love them both, and I would probably again be a naughty and put both series at this spot together. Something real fun about reading a romance with a beast man and a woman. It sounds way kinkier than it is, and really funny. I think the one with the the teenagers is much more kinky than this one. This one isn't that kinky. It's like really heartwarming and adorable, this one. In this world, humans are looked down on, and this woman is just wanting to do a good job, and she just doesn't really get the chance because she's discriminated against. But she's given a chance by the boss of her company, who is this like big lion man. This is his hand. Yeah, and it's just super cute between the two of them. There isn't like anything like too smutty with this one, unlike the other one, which gets like, wow, this is like, how can this not be plastered? It's got, surely later on it's going to get plastered out. The prequel is spicy. Anywho, this one, also really adorable, lovely, but we get a volume like every year, 2 years, so maybe go with the other one as well. No, just read both. Take both. Next we have Final Fantasy XIV Eorzea Academy. This is a one-shot. This is as if the characters out of Final Fantasy XIV all attended an academy together called Eorzea Academy. Eorzea being the name of the main landmass in 14. Well, the one that you like start is basically the main one. Now, because we can't have like our main character, the Warrior of Light, the main character in this are predominantly the twins, Alphinaud and Alisaie, and yeah, it's basically just sort of a love letter to Final Fantasy XIV fans. There's so many references to the characters and events of the games, while still keeping it really light-hearted and fun. So Eorzea Academy is an institution that was merged, that was formed by merging two academies, the Academy of Light and the Academy of Dark. And there's like some class wars between, there's still like a light class and a dark class, and there's like rivalries between them. And also Tataru is the headmistress, because of course she is. A good number of the scions are teachers. We've got students as well. And just so many like silly, wonderful references if you've played the game. I would say you need to have completed Shadowbringers probably to enjoy it to its fullest. I'm guessing that's when it came out. Most important character to make an appearance though is my favorite. Him. I love him. As well as we get one panel, I think, of my other favorite character. This is the only panel we get of him as well. It's Ardbert here. There's one little panel. I'll take it though. Next we have cross-dressing Villainess, Cecilia Sylvi. This is a Villainess isekai. In my opinion, it's one of the better done Villainess isekais. It's become such a popular subgenre. They are such a dime a dozen at the moment, and I would say this one is definitely one of my favorites and one of my highest recommended ones. Again, it's quite slow releasing. Volume 7 has just come out, the manga that is. I think the light novel is complete at 5 though. Maybe? Don't quote me, but I think it is. So if you are still wanting to engage with the story but don't want to wait for the manga, you could give that a go. The general premise is our character has been isekai'd into an anime game as the Villainess and decides that their solution to not getting stuck on a bad route or ending up banished or worse, they're going to cross-dress and pretend to be a boy called Cecil. Cecil? But Cecilia, so Cecil, I assume. And no one's quite realised, because they're all idiots, I don't know, it's oblivious. And it's just Cecil going around school, trying to not get caught, spending a lot of time with the love interests, unwillingly half the time, while also still trying to solve the mystery of what's going on in the story, because our character didn't fully finish playing the game and complete all the routes, so it doesn't know everything and is concerned that her life might still be at risk from characters outside of, say, the love interests. So there's some mystery trying to figure stuff out, as well as some really, really goddamn amazing romance going on. Oh, Volume 7 had me squealing. The Crown Prince, after my heart. Next we have Astra Lost in Space. This is a 5-volume complete sci-fi mystery series from Viz. One of the reasons I enjoy this series so much is because, in my opinion, it's one of my top go-to recommendations. If someone comes to me and asks for a recommendation and then gives me nothing else to go on, I would usually recommend this series. Now the reason for that is it's short, it's 5 volumes complete, so you're not doing a huge, like, crazy amount of investment. Is Viz Media, which is on the cheaper end of the scale in terms of publishers. And then third, and most importantly, I actually thought the ending was pretty decent. I'm incredibly picky about my endings. There are so many stories where I've really enjoyed, and then I've gotten to the ending and I'm like, alright, even technically Fairy Tail, to be honest. I enjoyed the journey, but the ending, thank goodness we've got a 100-year quest. Whereas Astra, I think, was one of the first series I read where I actually liked the ending. And at that point, I still hadn't read a lot of stuff. It was quite early on. I'm fairly sure I started reading Astra. I'm not sure if I'd started making content yet, but it was definitely, like, still early days. And considering I've been a lot less interested in sci-fi in the last few years, I still found it really fun and engaging. And there were twists I didn't see coming. It was just good. I quite liked it. So yeah, I love it and I do recommend it because it's short and sweet. Next we have Saviour's Book Cafe story in Another World. I always forget the story. I always say Saviour's Book Cafe in Another World, but it is Saviour's Book Cafe story in Another World. It also really annoys me that Saviour is spelled American because I keep trying to put U in it and that's not how it's spelled in the title. This is so super dang cozy and cute. It's another isekai story, but it's not really as much like the others. So it's about this woman who is being isekai'd. She's been approached by an orb. I suppose it's meant to be some sort of god. And they're like, will you go to this other world and like help him out a bit if I give you powers? And she's like, nah, thanks, I just want to read. And he's like, oh, I'll give you any sort of powers you want. And she's like, nah, I just want to read. And he's like, anything you want, nothing off the table. So she starts writing up all of this like demands of, I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to do this, I want to be placed in this sort of place, I want this sort of house. And eventually they get there, God agrees, sends her off, and she appears in this house in this like cute little snowy area on the outskirts of this kingdom. And she starts setting it up and turns it into a book cafe. And after not too long, a knight starts stopping by to come and read books and eat food that she had in the cafe, like sandwiches and soup and stuff. And because she's like this all-powerful isekai being, the food she crafts and makes actually is like super like boosting in ways and they don't quite realise. And she's trying to like hide she's been isekai, she just wants a chill life. But it does eventually start to come out and other story stuff happens. But they become quite close, very close. Very close, so cute. It is complete in 5 volumes. I do think the second half was a bit iffy just because it felt like the story was kind of wrapping in the like first 2 volumes, and then it sort of like rushed a bit. We got loads of story in like 1 page and it was like, oh, and this happened and this happened and this happened, and then we've moved on to another arc. I personally would have rather they'd made it longer or just done that first arc across 5 volumes. However, saying all that, it's still ridiculously cute, lovely, sweet, and would recommend. Especially completed 5 volumes, again, not too arduous. Not too arduous. Next we have the Legend of Zelda manga, and I know I am holding Ocarina of Time Part 1, but I am again going to break my rules, and I'm just going to talk about the entirety of the Legend of Zelda manga. Again, going way back to like 15, 14-year-old Caitlin, when I started reading manga, my parents got me whatever Zelda manga was out at the time. It wasn't too many volumes. I want to say there was like 6 or 7 volumes, which was Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, The Oracles, Four Swords. That might have been it at the time. That might have been all that was out. I am a big Legend of Zelda fan. I love the Legend of Zelda series. Wind Waker is my favourite game of all time. And unfortunately one of the few Zelda games that doesn't have a manga. There is an unofficial one called Link's Logbook, but it is not the same people. And I know I said earlier about I don't think dungeons are well represented in manga format, and I do still stand by that even with the Zelda ones. I think when we get to the dungeon areas, some of them play around it by like completely, don't go anywhere near a dungeon, the boss like just appears in the village or out and about wherever Link is. Like I think happens with, it happens in part 2 with the dragon. No, the dragon happens at the end of this one and absolutely makes me sob every time. The dungeon from the Fire Temple, they like change the backstory. We've got additional backstories. Link's got personalities in these. Four Swords was never a game I was able to play. growing up, because it was really, really, really pricey to get a hold of, and also friends that wanted to play it. But they'd like made a story for it, and it was wonderful, and all the links had different personalities. It was excellent. I loved it. I actually read the Oracle manga before I picked up the Oracle games, and I think it definitely made me want to play the Oracle games because of it. That's going back to what I said earlier, where I don't think a lot of video game manga is done too well, just because of how they have to manage the pacing for it to be reasonable. However, saying that, if you're reading a series that you really love, I think that definitely kind of, it doesn't matter at that point. Being able to take in the medium in a different format of something that you already know pretty well and love is just, it's just still really fun and nice. Saying that, I do have some like pet peeves with the Twilight Princess one, because they like properly changed some bits at the end and I didn't like how they did it. I did like a multi-paragraph rant somewhere, I don't remember where I did it, but I did not like how they made some changes to that. A whole bunch of the changes leading up to the ending, perfectly fine with and welcomed. Ending ones, eh. And besides those, we've also had Phantom Hourglass, Link to the Past, and then there is a short Skyward Sword one in Hyrule Historia. I wish we got more, but they seem to be doing their own thing at the minute, the pair that normally draw these. Wind Waker, please. I'd love if they did like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom one, but I feel like that would be, like, Twilight Princess was 11 volumes, and I remember when they announced it, and they were like, it's going to be 4 volumes long, and then it got to volume 4, and I was like, I don't think it's done. And then it was like, and then I read somewhere it was going to be complete at 7 volumes, and I got to volume 7, and I was like, I don't think it's going to be done. And then it just kept, I was like, I'll just wait, I'm going to stop reading where people think it's going to end, and yeah, ended at 11. Next we have Hat Atelier. Hat Atelier is very much beloved in the community, and it is quite understandable why. It sounded so cringe and cheesy, oh my gosh, why did it, ugh. So much cat fluff stuck in the corner of these. Anywho, Hat Atelier, excellent story. The anime is coming out this year. So many people are excited for it. I think it's already starting to sell out. I don't even think it's aired yet. Gosh. Again, similar to Green Yuri, something I adore about Hat Atelier is the paneling. The paneling is stunning. Like this. They didn't have to do this elaborate like effect around the side, scrolls and all that jazz, but they did. And it looks incredible. We've got this whole like lore behind magic, how magic works. It's about drawing these symbols, but also we're keeping it secret. So like the whole thing can't let the normies know that actually anyone could technically do magic. The story is fun. It's seeing the magic, seeing the characters, the way they're drawn, the art style. Oh, it's wonderful. I feel like most people are already reading it, so I'm not really sure I'm going to do much of like recommending here. But I really look forward to seeing how the anime does it, because like I don't know how they're going to do if they would even try and incorporate the paneling in some way. I'm interested to see that, but I really hope it does well. Really hope it does well. Next, Perks of Being an S-Class Heroine. Another isekai manhwa. There's a lot of isekai in here. Really like my isekai. I actually haven't counted how many isekai. We'll get to the end. I'll do an isekai count if I remember. Things that I love about Perks of Being an S-Class Heroine is the system. Sort of a lot of like isekai series, we sort of have a system with leveling up, XP, that kind of jazz. But I feel like this one takes it one step further. Oh, look, can you see the rainbow? Oh! I feel like this series takes it like one step further, where the system seems to be manned or managed by real people, and our main character is like having conversations with these people, and it almost comes across like they're just sort of working in an office, and there's bickering, there's different departments, and you can see them bickering in the dialogue boxes, and I really enjoy that. And besides that, I think it's really pretty. I love the character's pink hair. It's incredibly striking, wonderful to look at. Really generally bright series. Here we have some of the dialogue boxes from when they're talking to some of the powers that be. We don't still fully understand yet what they are. And again, this is an isekai. It's based on a book that they have read, and they're trying to sort of keep the events of the book going, because they don't really know what's going to happen or if they will survive. So they're trying to like level up, be super strong to survive / help the hero when we get to the right point. I actually have an unread volume of this downstairs, and I am quite sad, but I have been putting off a lot of my manhwa until March, But I don't know if I can wait that long and do Manhwa March. I don't know if I can wait that long. I might just go get it. I might go get it. Next we have That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. We have volume 2 because I don't know where I've put volume 1. Somewhere. It's somewhere. It's just not on the shelf where it should be. This was one of the very first isekai series that I got into, to the point that I actually watched the anime before I read the manga. So the way it went, technically the first one I watched was Sword Art Online, and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, is there anything like this? And at the time, I don't think Crunchyroll had like a isekai genre or category, it was just fantasy. So then I tried Konosuba, and then I watched that and enjoyed that, and then the next one I watched was Slime. And I think it was this one that like really solidified, okay, this is something I'm really enjoying. What is it? And that was when I started to be like, okay, what is this? Oh, isekai. I'll remember that. A Japanese salaryman is isekai'd as a slime and is able to use that ability to take on powers and abilities, and ends up like managing a kingdom, I guess. The slime ends up ambling into this like goblin village and then becomes their leader and is like getting them to build stuff, and we grow, we start building houses, start building roads, start building food shops, setting up like agriculture, stuff that they remember from Japan. And we're starting to turn this into like less of a little goblin village and more like a hustling, bustling city. And we're seeing it grow throughout the series, and it's one of my favourite bits about it, is seeing this growth and evolution of the city alongside our character getting like super OP and doing whatever they must for their people. I'm actually a few volumes behind reading the manga because like I feel like they were coming out pretty quick, and I'm now a couple of volumes behind. So I'm gonna read those next month. I think I have a mini goal now of anything I've pulled out for this, I've got to be up to date with in the next few months. And I am on most of it, actually. I'm a couple behind on Hat Atelier, that was on purpose because there've been some big long releases, and I'm a bit behind on 100 Year Quest, if that counts. But otherwise, I think I'm like up to date or complete on the rest of them, and then a couple behind on this one. Next we have Food Wars, another Shonen Jump. I am quite fond of my Shonen Jump. I mean, there were others where I was like One Punch Man or Black Clover. I love Black Clover, but I did end up settling on Food Wars as well. Food Wars was another one where I went anime first while I was at uni. I do think Food Wars is one that works better as an anime because you can watch the food being cooked, you can see the characters getting overwhelmed by what they've eaten in real time. That's fun as well. We don't talk about the last arc, we can just pretend that that wasn't there, but everything else in the lead up to it was smashing. I loved it. I loved watching the food being cooked. I love people like this like over the top cooking. Oh my gosh, he did that to help reduce the smell of the meat. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. And also there's recipes in this, like they usually make them a bit more simple. I opened it straight to one. At the end of a chapter we'll often get these sort of mini, more doable at home recipes for something that was made in that chapter. I really want to do a live stream where I cook some of them at some point, set up in the kitchen and do some food out of Food Wars. I think that would be really fun. But also, what would I choose to cook? And also, do I really want people seeing me cook? Because I don't think I'm that good of a cook, and I don't know if I want to out myself like that. Next we have Reliving My Life with a Boyfriend Who Doesn't Remember Me. This was a more recent series read. I think it was in my top 10 list for 2025, so I've actually talked about this fairly recently because I think my schedule is right. That was last week's video. Or the week before this one's video, sorry. So I'm going to talk about it again. But I'll do a condensed version. This pair, very much in love, dating at magic school. They go to dance. Happy. Post-dance, he dead. She sad. Then she die. She wake up, 10 years old, confused. Trains hard to go back to magic school to find him. She finds him. He doesn't remember her. She's sad. She gonna make him love her again. And that's the plot, basically. It's her trying to reignite that spark, and she just loves him so much. She just wants to be around him, even if it's not romantically. If it just, he lets her be around him, she's happy. And she doesn't quite realise that over time that he is falling for her as well. Proper deeply falling for her. She's a little oblivious. I don't think she truly wants to believe it or accept it because she's gone through quite a lot of traumatic experiences, to be fair. And yeah, as I've said before and I'll say it again, it is such a good story of she fell first, he fell harder. I think I phrased that right. Oh, it gets squeals every volume. I think 3 was a good amount to read, but honestly, there's 5 volumes of it out now, and reading up to volume 5 in one go, I'll be super jealous of you, because like 4 and 5 had both such good moments in them, and we have quite a way to wait till 6. So maybe don't rush, because you'll have to wait for some to get some more. Next we have Sora in the House of Monsters. This is about a world where humans and monsters have been fighting, and this girl has trained like pretty much her whole life to join the army, to join the war. And just as she's about to like be deployed, the truce is drawn. We're at peace now. Everything's good. We don't need an army anymore. We don't need soldiers. Off you go. And she's like, what do I do? And she ends up finding herself joining like this group of dwarves who go around and build houses for monsters, or anyone that needs them really, but I think it's only really been monsters. And they've kind of joined along, and they're going to see what monsters are really like. But the best bit about the series is when they build the houses. We get this wonderful, wonderful floor plan map, X-ray vision into the house with little like diagrams and pointing like, this is what this is doing, this is what this means. We've got a top-down floor plan here, and then we've got the X-ray here. Some like, this is the map. Sometimes in my free time I like to go on house websites and look at floor plans. I'm not buying or anything, I just like to look at them. And this is like a fantasy version of that. We're seeing some fantasy house floor plans, and again we've got that like fun paneling that we've had with some other series that I've really enjoyed and loved. Here we got another one. This one's for a slime. First one was some goblins, this one's for a slime, and how a slime can get about the house on its own without needing any help. Now the further into the story we are getting like some more like story. It isn't just chapter episodic. Here's some more monsters, let's build a house. Here's some more monsters, let's build a house. We are getting like story and backstory behind the characters, but we're still getting house buildings and floor plans, and it's just a lot of fantasy floor plans. Oh! Next we have, I'm giving the disgraced noble lady a crash course in naughtiness. I'll spoil her with delicacies and style to make her the happiest woman in the world. Something I really love about this series is, with a title like that, everyone just assumes it's really gross and degenerate, but it is so not. It is the complete opposite. It is like tricking people. It is keeping the people away from it, but it shouldn't be. It's so cute. Actually, the starting plot is kind of similar to a number of other series. This girl has been like accused of doing something terrible, and she's had to run away from home and is on the lam. And she accidentally runs into this like demon lord guy. I think that's what he's known as. Yeah, he's feared as the demon lord. And she's like, help me, I'm on the run. And he's like, I'll look after you, come into my manor. And she talks about like her life and what it's been like, and he's like, no, we're gonna bash that out of you. You're gonna live a good life, you're gonna be good, but you need to learn to be a little bit more selfish and naughty. And when he says naughty, he means like eating a whole slice of cake, not immediately cleaning when you wake up, not limiting like nice things to eat for other people. You can eat them too. Like actually trying to help her put herself first. And it's just so cute. It is so cute. It is so adorable. Again, there is some more story that does start to develop after a few volumes. We do leave the manor, we go into town, we go to some nearby cities and other places. We start trying to reconcile with some of her family, some of his family. It's so adorable, but it's so deceiving. It's so deceiving. Don't judge the title. It's not plastic wrapped. It's not plastic wrapped. It's cute. Probably one of the cutest things I've ever read. It is like a proper kind of series when you do get to it. Okay, with that, I think we are now on to my top 5. Now, like the rest of that wasn't really in any particular order. We didn't start from the bottom and work our way up. They're just all series I really enjoy, and it's really hard to like pit them against each other. I would say that this 5 is like a fairly solid top 5, but again, within that top 5, I don't think I could like really differentiate one above the other. Some people might think otherwise when I talk about them and how I talk about them, but it is the truth. I love all 5 of these so much, so equally. Yeah. First, we have Witch's Printing Office. This is a 6-volume isekai. I've just realized actually how many in the top 5 are isekais. This is a 6-volume isekai. It is about a girl who was at Comiket, which is sort of a big convention in Japan. She was at Comiket and she's accidentally been pulled through to this other world. And she's like, well, dang, how do I get home? And people are like, well, you could ask some like wizards or people who can do magic, but like the type of magic that people can do in this world is so weirdly specific person to person. Like going around and asking everyone you could possibly ask it would take a lifetime. You'd never be able to do it. So what she decides to do is, well, if I can't go around all of them, I'll bring them all to me. And she sets up Magiket. Yeah, based on Comiket, she sets up Magiket, sort of a magic convention festival where people will be able to rent or have a stand and sell their magic in some capacity. And there is a weird amount of the story which is like the logistics of running this event and dealing with people who are causing havoc or trying to cut lines or do bad things at their booth they shouldn't be doing, like selling bad magic books or whatever. Trying to group the magics also causes problems. Also, overall, it is a surprisingly pretty and well-drawn series. I would genuinely say it's one of my favorite series for just how it is drawn. I was going to show that, but it's a little bit too booby. It's just one of my favorite series in how the characters are drawn, the backgrounds. I really love the sort of like heavy line usage. It slightly reminds me a bit of Hat Atelier, but in a different style. But in terms of like the way it's drawn, I don't know how to describe it. I think I'm meaning in my head. But it is incredibly funny, it's really silly, it's mostly light-hearted, and it's just fun. I know a number of people have been a bit put off because some of the covers have quite boobylicious ladies on them, but it's not really part of the story. They're just women with boobs. It's really about most of the limit where it goes. It's not really creepy. Next we have Komi Can't Communicate, a series that is complete at 37 volumes with the final volume coming out April of this year, and I've been putting off reading it because I can't admit or accept that it is over. Komi Can't Communicate means so much to me. It probably doesn't come across as much when you're watching my videos and you're seeing me talking and you're like, oh, look at her, she's talking so well. Or at least she's talking consistently, like loud. You can hear me, hopefully. But I was not always like this at all. I was incredibly quiet. I could not talk. I couldn't bring myself to talk quite badly. When I was in school, I was quiet, didn't say anything, and I didn't know how, or I was too nervous. And when I started reading Komi, I was at uni by the time I read Komi, so I'd already gone past school. I was still not great at talking, but I was doing a little better. And I remember reading Komi, and I remember reading volume 1, and I remember like crying just because it felt so personal, reading about a character going through this journey of wanting to be able to vocalize and make friends and talk to people, and they just couldn't, and they couldn't quite figure out how to bring themselves out of that shell. And in Komi, she meets Tadano, who helps her with that. It's just been so wonderful to read and seeing her develop and her being able to start talking more. I know a lot of people like take piss out of it, like she's making 100 friends. I can't remember all of them, or hasn't she started talking now? What's the point? But like, well, first off, we are on the way towards the end of the story. It's not like it's still ongoing or anything. But I feel like having the story end as she's able to overcome her social challenges, I think I'd have been upset that. I'm quite happy that we do get to see her bloom, so to speak, and become that person that she really wants to be and is now being able to become. But yeah, personally it's meant so much. Being able to, reading about a character going through similar struggles that I went through, relatable issues, I felt seen. Not like quality assurance is one thing, but this one really hit for me personally, and I love it with all my heart, desperately, and I can't wait / never want to read the end. Next up we have One Piece. We have One Piece 61 because I couldn't be asked to go and get volume 1 because it was really high up on a shelf. And this is basically the cover of volume 1 with a few extra people on it, isn't it? Once I started reading manga, once I started reading Naruto, and I went online to try and be like, what is this? What is going on? And like the biggest one that people talked about was One Piece. So I did start to read some One Piece online. I didn't really understand back then what was going on or what I was using. I've learnt my lesson. Anywho, I was like, this is really fun. I'm enjoying this. I want to pick this up. And I remember on my way home from school in town, there was a bookstore that sold books for £2 each. And there was a full bookcase of manga. Yes, in hindsight, could have gone crazy, but I was like 16, 15, no, it was 14. I was 14. And yeah, so I remember seeing One Piece on the shelves, but it was like, I mean, it was middle of town, a little town in Yorkshire, and most of the bookshop was books. There was just this small corner bookshelf with manga on it. So they never had volumes in order. So I would be buying the One Piece volumes they had, and whatever they had. It didn't matter if it was starting from 1, I just bought whatever they had. So the first volume of One Piece that I bought and read was volume 24, which is the first volume in the Skypiea arc. Now, I'd read a few chapters online. I think I'd read to just about Nami appearing, so not that far. So I knew Nami, and then I read volume 24. But actually there was 3 volumes I bought. So I bought 24, I bought 36, which is the sea train, they're on the sea train, and 53, which is Impel Down, as they're escaping. So yeah, and I read them. I got them and I read them. So I read 24, so I went Skypiea, sea train, escaping Impel Down. And I loved it. I ate it up. I read them over and over again. I remember like waiting for my mother in the bank, reading volume 24. And it got to the point where the lady recognized me in this shop and would put the One Piece ones to the side for me. And then I started picking up some other ones. I think I picked up some Fullmetal Alchemist, some more Naruto, but they never had anything in order. But I did manage to pick up like 40 volumes of One Piece at £2 each over about a year or so, which is excellent. Wonderful. But the last volume I bought to have a clear run was volume, I think it was volume 23. I think 23, so the last volume of the Alabasta arc was the last one I bought to have a clear run to 63. To 63! I'd read One Piece from 1 to 63 in the most backwards order. And I had a great time. I loved it. I've read all of those volumes dozens of times each. I love it. Saying that, I don't think I would ever really recommend One Piece. It's too long. If you want to read One Piece, you need to want to read One Piece. If you want to watch it, you need to want to watch it. I don't feel it's a series where you can go, oh, they recommended it, I'll give it a go. I feel like you yourself need to be like, I want to try reading it. It's just too long otherwise. Now, I think it's great. I love long series. There aren't too many nowadays. We've got like a couple still. I love how much time we get to spend with the characters. We're like developing those backstories. We're getting throwbacks and references. I love it. I still don't think I can bring myself to recommend it though. Next series is Villains Are Destined to Die. An isekai, villainess, manhwa. It's beautiful. You might be able to tell I'm a fan based on the 2 shelves dedicated to the series behind my head. It is beautiful. The artwork is stunning. I love the character. I love Penelope. She's beautiful. I love all the love interests in their own right in different ways. There is a favourite one. Our little Mad Prince. He is a bit of a favourite. Volume 8. Oh my god. Oh my god. Him in volume 8 at the end. Anyone read volume 8? Please let me know. Don't leave spoilers. Don't leave spoilers in the comments. Maybe in the Discord or DM me. I don't know. I just overflow and gush about volume 8 with me in the last few panels because I lost my shit with those pages. Our character has been isekai'd into a mobile game, and they have been isekai'd into the hard route, where they play as the Villainess. Penelope, she is the stepdaughter, I guess. No, what is she? She's an orphan off the street that's been brought in by the Duke, and his biological daughter has kind of gone missing. There's this whole thing, where's she gone? And at the moment, the only daughter in the house is Penelope. But Penelope knows that at some point, the biological daughter will return, and on the normal route, you play as her, and the story starts when she arrives at the manor. Whereas on the hard route, the story, I think, ends. Does it end when she turns up? I can't fully remember. So our character is like, how do I get out of this? How do I stop, like, me not getting a bad ending? And they think that the way they get out is by managing to get one of the love interests meter to max. And every one of the love interests has a little heart locket above their head, and she can see what percentage they like her, basically. So she's trying to get one of them to 100. She chooses one of the love interests to really like focus on, and we see how that goes later on in the series. But it is a stunning, swoon-worthy isekai. I adore it. Highly recommend. We have recently had Volume 8 out in English. We have had Volume 9 announced for Korea, and it is like 6 months-ish after, I think, or 3 to 6 months after they get their copy that we then get it in English. But the cover's been announced, and the colouring on the spine is like a minty green, and I am obsessed with it. It's so good. It's so pretty. It's my favourite colour, I think, of the lot. I don't know if you can see all the colours. These are my English copies, and then I have Korean copies up here, because the Korean copies come with like fun, fancy stuff like acrylic stands and postcards and folders and stuff. That's where most of the stuff's come from that I've decorated the shrine with. Our last series, which is likely a surprise to absolutely no one, is the Otherworld's books Depend on the Bean Counter. Why this has enthralled me as much as it has, I do not know, but I am so glad to be living the life I am, where this has managed to enter my... I don't know how I'm going with this. Otherworld's books Depend on the Bean Counter is a BL isekai, where our salaryman Kondo has been isekai'd accidentally into this other world after trying to help a high schooler being sucked through a hole in the ground. It then transpires that this girl has been summoned through a summoning circle, not a hole in the ground. I realise it sounds like she's just fallen in a hole. No, it's a summoning circle. She's been summoned to act as the priestess to try and help this ongoing miasma problem that is causing like pestilence, disease, poor crop growing, animals dying, all sorts. And unfortunately, Kondo's been pulled through, accidentally. And then the kingdom's like, well, tough, okay, well, you can have a salary and go live in the castle, I guess. But here's a salary man to the core, and he's like, nope, put me to work. I was an accountant. Point me to your accounting department. And he starts working. He starts working in the accounting department. He is struggling to maintain. He realizes there is a lot of work to do. And one of his colleagues is like, hey, you can drink this tonic and it'll keep you up. And it perks him right up. He's right on all his work going through the night. Who needs sleep when you've got accounting? Oh, am I right? Anywho, it turns out that this guy who is not from this world is not able to properly handle the magic in this potion and starts to get a bit sick and collapses. But it's okay, because our favourite knight commander is there to save the day and sweeps him off his feet back to his house, where he performs emergency medical care. This is all volume 1, by the way. But this is all volume 1. We've not gone past volume 1. The medical care starts to come with feelings over time. Oh, Aresh, I love you. This series hit me like so perfectly. Everything about it, the facial expressions, the characters when they look at each other, the little like side glances, the little moments when something goes wrong and Aresh loses his shit. The fact that we got a who did this to you moment. Volume 3, by the way. Oh, It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So this series is currently 7 volumes ongoing. 6 has just come out in English, 7 has just come out in Japanese. It's also a light novel series, 3 volumes complete, and an anime is currently airing. We got an anime. Losing my mind. What I'm also losing my mind at is learning that people are review bombing it because they're watching it, not realising it's a BL, going, well, I hope it doesn't get too BL-y. They literally bone in like episode 2. Medical treatment. It's medical treatment. It's medically endorsed boning. You can't be homophobic about medically endorsed boning. Absolute audacity of people saying these bad things about my Beanie Boys. I love this series so much. I think I've given away like 20 copies of volume 1. I've done so many giveaways of this series because I'm like, I just need to up the sales numbers. It needs good sales numbers, and it's just me. It's just me. Yen Press is like, a lot of beans sells in Yorkshire. Yorkshire must really love its BL isekai, and it is literally just me. It's a hot spot on my house as I'm just like frisbeeing copies out to the neighbourhood like, hi, will you read this, please? It is actually quite late. I've been going quite long. I'm starting to feel a little delirious, you might be able to tell. This time I'm talking about beads. I love it. I cried so hard reading volume 6 last week. Highly recommend this one, if you couldn't tell. Please read it if you haven't already. And with that, we are done. We've gone through 30-ish, wink wink, series to celebrate my 30th birthday. Which is kind of crazy. It means that I've been making videos for 5 and a bit years? Yeah, 5 and a bit years. I'm quite shocked at how much doing content and videos has shaped me as a person, in making me more confident, improving my speaking skills. It's changed my trajectory in my career. It's changed my confidence being out in person, talking to people. It's still not great, but it's better. To have met such wonderful people. I'm so glad to have done all of this. I'm gonna still maintain I'm making videos that I vibe and fancy making just for funsies. I don't really have any interest in like trying to game whatever YouTube is wanting to please the algorithm gods. I'm just vibing and having fun. I hope you enjoyed it. It's probably been very long. It is very, very late. It is technically a school night. I have work first thing. I have so much work to do. And this is going to be pretty long. So apologies for that. Do let me know in the comments if I have tempted you with anything. Have you read any of these already? Are you going to try any of these? Do you hate any of these? Actually, no, don't tell me if you hate any of these. I don't care if you hate these. Why would you tell me? That's weird. Just move on. If you are interested in early access to my videos, do check out my channel membership, probably links down below. Social media and affiliate links, as well as Discord link down there for you if you fancy raving at me about my choices at me in person. But otherwise, I hope you have the most amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!